Harper. Hey. Hello, welcome back to Dr. Hugh Show, Dr. Hugh. And you probably want to look at all of his here. I got some rings to it, right? Kind of like and it's just to prove a point. So we're going to take it off for the second time and get rid of that. And then come back to explain it here in a moment. But again, welcome back to the Hugh Man Show with Dr. Hugh, live from U.S. Carburation, downtown Summersville, West Virginia, where it goes from 0 to 50 degrees in 2 days. And of course, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. So like us, love us, or leave us, whatever you do there. Carburation is our business, and our business today is answering your questions live about installation, combustification, carburation, I don't know, alliteration. And as you know, we manufacture the motor snorkel. It's our patented product. It's the only device on the market that's patented and can install in minutes. And I'm probably beating up my microphone. So anyway, what was I saying before? This is actually take 2, but we're doing good. We're doing good. We're here to answer your questions. That's what it's all about. And so we try to fill in with some other stuff just to get things rolling. So please send in your questions to our producer, and he'll get them on the air live, and we'll answer them for you if we can. If we not, we'll make up something. So let's see. Where are we? If you're not ready for any questions or anything, what are we doing?
Demonstration?
No, not that. No. I told you it's at the end. E-N-D, end. We're still offering a free engine tachometer for someone who can tell us a tool that keeps working, even when you're not using it. So we've had several. I can't remember. I didn't count them up, but we have probably 10 or 12 so far, which is pretty cool if you really think about it. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. Do we have any kind of discount during the show? No, we didn't talk about that.
We can do it.
What is it? Tell me what it is.
25%.
Ooh, 25% during the show, or within an hour afterwards, because we don't want you to miss a minute. On the edge of your seat, don't leave. Stay right there. All right. So we either have. Very good. I like that. So we have either live questions or we have customer mail. And of course, we'll get back to this in a minute. I'll put that up there. A flower.
Well,
You tell me, Mr. Producer Man.
I suppose we can run this question.
All right, here comes a question. How long can I run my generator? 25 barbecues. Oh, this guy's a comedian, man. You missed your call.
We're queuing up some more questions.
How long can I run my... I just answered that last week, man. It's like, it all depends on the size of the generator, what percentage load you have on it. For instance, you can run, I've seen a 2000 run 12 hours. No, more than 12, 16 hours on a 20-pound cylinder. So it was, throttling up, throttling down, of course, and it was an inverter. But basically what we tell people is whatever the manufacturer says it will use on gasoline is about equal to propane. But people tell us a lot of times they do better on propane than they do gasoline. So take it, and that's because you can adjust the calibrator for perfect stoichiometry. Look that word up. It means perfect combustion. But yes, so whatever the manufacturer says, go by that. And if a cylinder's full, it should have 4.7 gallons in it, which is like a 5-gallon gas can. So if you can figure out how much gasoline you would have used, then you would have known how much. Oh, I see.
All right, Doc, let's go to question number 2 here.
Question number 2.
Since we have the long-awaited microphone,
Hey.
then I'll go ahead and read.
I like the way you lean into it. Like you really need to do that. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, this is technical stuff. Actually, I just realized I had the mic turned around backwards. Here we go.
This show's turned around backwards.
If I get a conversion kit for my generator, do I need a different regulator for propane and natural gas?
Okay. The short answer, yes. The long answer is no. Yeah. With propane, you have to have a knockdown regulator to 11 inches water column. So it depends. You're talking about a portable cylinder, yes, you have a regulator on that. If you're going to hook to natural gas, it has its own built-in regulator on a natural gas system, which is 8 ounces. Now, sometimes, I said that wrong. It's not 8 ounces, 6 ounces, 7 ounces, inches. Ugh. See, even the doc says something wrong. That's why I don't perform surgery. I just do Q&A. But so yeah, the meters on natural gas have a built-in regulator. Now, some systems are 2 pounds, 5 pounds. If they are, then yes, you have to knock that down to 8, 9, 10 inches water column. So that would require 2 different regulators. So in the short run, natural gas, propane, you have your cylinder regulator, feeds the engine regulator. On natural gas, that if you hook it to your home system, the home has its own regulator, so you don't need to add anything else other than the hose. Does that make sense? I know it makes sense to us because we do it all the time. I just wonder if it makes sense to real people. You know.
All right.
No inbounds?
Yeah, Doc, there is one actually.
Hey, we got an inbound.
So I was setting up so we could cut to the Facebook screenshot.
Hey. Oh, yes. We've discussed that before, Sean. They cannot use that fancy regulator that comes with that machine. If they get our complete system, the motor snorkel kit, then yes, you can run natural gas. And someone asked once, do I have to use the onboard one that came with it to run gasoline? The answer is no. You should still use our zero governor because it's a high quality device. We haven't really tested those knockoff biofuel units, but just have to be careful. Those things are preset, and if they're set rich, they're not going to last long. They're going to burn the valves up, which is not good. What are you staring at me for? It's underneath my coat. It's on the wrong side of my lapel.
There we go. That might have helped with the microphone issues, Gary.
Oh, Gary thought I had microphone issues. Sorry, Gary. Well.
We do have, Doc, we have another question from customer mail.
Ah, cool.
So here we go.
Fire in the hole.
Actually, hold on. Let me make sure that we didn't have a follow-up from Chris on the dual fuel. Okay. Now, here we go. Question number 2 by customer mail. Here it is.
Oh, no.
I cannot get the generator to stay running. It will sputter. The only way to get it to continue to sputter is to hold the primer button in. If I let it go, the engine dies immediately. I played around with the rich lean adjustment, but it really did not make a difference since I could not get it to stay running. That question comes from Scott via email. And to answer that, we have this anteater here.
I can breathe through this thing, but would you want to have that in your mouth and really have it sealed? If you're sitting in your chair in the living room, no problem. You can breathe through that. But tape it around your mouth and go jogging and see what happens. Then you'll be wanting, I had an extra here somewhere. Then you'll be wanting some oxygen you know, to be pumped into your straw, so to speak. So for some reason, we have customers that will not accept that on natural gas they need to have the size hosing that we recommend on our website. 25 years, we've never had an issue where our hosification charts are wrong. So recently we had a customer had a 3/8 hose. I wish we had a picture. I should have brought a picture of that. It's one of those like barbecue grill hookup hoses, 12 foot long. It was on a 10 kW generator, 10 kW. So if you go by that, that's 10,000 BTU per horsepower. How many horsepower was it? 20 horsepower. It's 200,000 BTU of fuel it needs to run at full load. Now, if you're keeping up with the numbers, 200,000. If you look at the specs on that hose that you can buy for your grill, it's rated at 60,000 BTU at 1/2 PSI. Okay. Well, on natural gas, you're below 1/2 PSI, and I believe it was 0.5 something. But anyway, it devalued to rate at 40,000 BTU, which is a barbecue grill. That's why it's a barbecue grill hose kit. So you're running 4 horsepower worth of fuel. And so trying to feed a 20 horse monster, well, it can't get enough to function correctly, okay? So people say, yeah, but you know, if I push the regulator button, you know, then it speeds up. Yeah, because it's now when you're hooked from here to your carburetor, you're not even on positive pressure. You're below atmosphere, and so it's physics. Don't even worry about all that. But when you press that button, it's the same as just taking that hose and shoving it in your carburetor under 8 inches of water column, whatever it may be. And of course it's going to speed up because now it's getting more fuel. And see, that is the trouble. That button is a primer for starting, but it's also a troubleshooter. So our question is, if you press the button, does it speed up? Yeah, you're starving for fuel. No, it's your regulator. Your regulator's bad. These regulators are not that complicated, and they've been made the same way for 50 or more years. And the physics involved, you know, it's kind of like buying a balsa wood airplane from, say, Walmart or something. Do you think at the factory they put together every balsa wood airplane, fly it, and go, oh, we need to adjust this and fix that? No, it's physics. They know if the balsa is this way, if it's bent that way, you know, it's going to fly. And so these things, they always fly. So it's very, very, very rare. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's always somebody who has natural gas with too small of a line. And you know what? I'm so adamant about that. I'm going to use my big stick. Natural gas requires a larger hose. And it's the reason for that is like a snake climbing a tree. How is that possible? How can a snake climb a tree? You ever had it? Do you know? Do you know how a snake climbs a tree? Mr. Producer, do you know how a snake climbs a tree? And don't say slowly. Don't be smart.
No comment then.
You know, he pushes this way against the bark and then pushes that way against the bark, you know, and he's always working his way up, pushing against the bark. And so you'll see him, they never go straight up a tree. You know, boop, you go right back. You know, snake never go up a tree that way. He'll fall backwards. He's like this. Because he needs that friction. That's the point, friction. So as gas passes through the line, friction processes are going to take place. And that's why even when sizing piping, you take into consideration the length and so forth, and the material. And that's why on our quick start guides, we have a big red X. Don't use those corrugated hookup hoses that you can get from the big box stores because they actually slow up gas flow. And if you want an example of that, those black pipes you put under your driveway or in your gutters, you know, the gutters come down to that black corrugated pipe. Yeah, that actually slows down water flow. And so if you've ever taken a hose and tried filling one of those, it takes forever. If you have a 30-foot hose and run a water hose in it, you're gonna be waiting a while. It's not like a PVC pipe where it's just gonna go to the end. It's gonna just keep back, it hits every one of those ribs all the way down. And so the point is, please listen to us when it comes to natural gas size lines. And typically the customers will not give us pictures because they're afraid that, or they know that there's a fitting in there that's reducing or something. So, and it just spends, you know, it wastes your time and wastes our time. We've been doing this for a while. I think, you know, almost 25 years. So I think we've got it pretty much figured out. So if that's the case, if you're holding that button to keep it running, let us help you get the right hose size. And we've had customers, we said, please take the generator right to the meter, you know, hook it up, and, oh man, I got an increase, it's working better. Why go through all that? Just listen to us and get the right parts.
Help us help you.
Let us help you. That will make you a nice human. Right? Nice human. That's my nice human mug. Somebody wants me to be a nice human. I don't know why. All right. So
Sell those mugs.
yeah. I hope I don't have to wear this again. But that's what that was about, by the way. I'm glad that question came up because that's the point I was going to make is, you know, you're asking it, a human needs air to keep going. Well, the generator needs, of course, air, but that's available in abundance. What it really needs is the right amount of fuel to go with that air. So, and that's just like for us, that's why our nostrils are not like this big on most people. You know, you don't need all that air. You'd be dizzy all the time. And maybe that's a side effect of that. But anyway.
If the audience wanted you to take your nostrils open, what would be do you have any objection?
Yes, objection withstanding, yes. I hope, did that answer that question? I hope. Probably over-answered it.
I think you got it.
Got it.
All right, let's go to another customer mail question. We still don't have any more additional live questions, but we're going to customer mail.
Let's go.
If I have one of your natural gas adapters on my generator and I want to switch over to propane, can I use that same adapter setup, or must I use a different adapter and change things around? That came from Jerry, and he chatted with us on our website.
Ah, okay, Jerry. Yes, it is a biofuel product, so it will work on both fuels. If the Venturi is sized correctly, it will work just fine. It's just a matter of adjusting the calibrator on the engine regulator. It's all that's necessary. So yeah, that's the whole point of an adapter. It allows for tri-fuel operation on most machines. Some you have to remove the adapter to run gasoline. That was another reason for the snorkel, is you don't have to remove it to run gasoline on 90% of units. There are a few that have little quirks. There's some quirky units out there, but no, absolutely. If you have the adapter, it's still good.
Okay, we do have a live question, actually. This is from Earl.
Earl. Well, it'd be nice if the chart shows 3/4, it'd be nice to go all the way with it because the inlet to the regulator is 3/4 too, so that works out really nice. But there are, I mean, if you run, we'd have to look at the chart. Once you're at a certain distance, you can drop down to 1/2 inch possibly. But by the time you make your switch, I don't know how far you're talking about doing it, but if you're saying the last 4 to 6 feet, it's just not worth, you know, going to a different size. You have the bell reducer and all that kind of stuff. So it would be best to go 3/4 all the way if you can. But you know, that's the kind of thing. That's why our CSRs are excellent about that. If you talk to them about you know, line sizing, they're spot on, man. They know their stuff. And they'll help you get the right hose. I hope that helps. I wonder how long a hose he's gonna have to use. But anyway.
Earl, how long of a hose are you gonna have to use?
Hey, what's your hose? Tell me about your hose.
Okay, Doc, we'll wait for Earl to respond if he's still with us. And then I've got another customer question here.
Always makes me hungry when I hear the name Earl. When I was a kid, they had a place called Earl's Sandwich. Oh man, they made the best sandwiches. Anyway.
I think that place is still around.
Is it?
Seen it around.
They had the little cage as you came in the front door of it and everything. That was pretty cool.
All right, here we go. This is a question from the Classic Archives. I am interested in a Type A conversion kit and any other hoses and regulators required to connect the generator to a 25 or 30 pound bottle. That came from Bob via email.
All right, Bob. We have it. The hookup would be, you know, our NPSK accessory. But yeah, I mean, we have the A kit. You can also most likely use a slip tube kit on that if you want. Just have to check the website. Type in on the finder. Type in your unit, and if the slip tube is available, you can do that. We have 6-foot, 12-foot hookup hoses, and I'm not familiar with bro. That wasn't a good one. I think that happened before. Hey. 25-pound cylinder, I'm not familiar with. 30-pound is like on a camper, but yeah, it's all the same, whether it's a 20-pound. If you're going to go into the larger cylinders, a 12-foot hose is the best idea, especially if you get into a 100-pound cylinder where they're 4.5 feet tall. You know, by the time you drape the hose to your machine, you're better off with the 12-foot hose. But yeah, all that. NPSK 12 and a K9568. And if you act now, you can get it for 25%. Operators are standing by.
All right, we got another comment from Facebook, and this is Gary. I think Gary's a regular viewer of the show. I think he's commented before. So
Hi, Gary.
Hello, Gary.
Thanks for watching.
So here we go. I'll try to display it. About sizes of gas lines and so forth. So
Well, those numbers were conflicting. You said 150 PSI, and then you said 8 inches of water column. So you dropped it from 150. PSI. I have a feeling that's a typo or something. That's you know, there's 24 inches in a pound, so it would be 4 times. That'd be a lot. But anyway, cool.
all right, still checking. There's
I don't.
no more comments coming in. I've got a couple more customer mails if you want to go through them.
Sure. Don't want to forget. We're always looking for dealers. If you want to be a dealer, act now. You can take over your area. I mean, it's an easy resell, especially if you do boating shows or fishing shows or any of those shows like that. Spring's coming before too long. Camping shows. I'll do anything you want there, bro. I'm on the clock.
You turned down my idea for the nose taping.
Yeah. I got a few ideas for you too.
Here we got a customer question. This is from Oscar. He chatted with us on our website.
Hey,
Oscar says, how many BTU does a 420cc engine burn of natural gas? I need to know for a permit to put a portable generator on natural gas. It's a Westinghouse 7500 watt.
Yeah. So that should be a 13 horse motor. So it's 130,000 BTU. What was the beginning of the question?
How many BTUs
Oh, okay, yeah.
does it burn?
Yeah, so the max should be 130,000. You can go with that, and no one on earth can hardly disprove that because the calculations to prove it or disprove it are this long, and nobody usually wants to go through all that work. However, 10,000 BTU per horsepower, so far so good, can't go wrong. So there you go. And for $149, we'll give you a certified letter saying that that's what we calculated to believe it might be. We'll do it cheaper than that.
All right. Well, Doc, you want to talk about your demonstration? We've kind of slowed down with the questions. We did have a follow-up from Gary. He said that the engine runs on 40 PSI after the Little Joe regulator.
Oh, the Little
And he
Joe.
said also he's at a compressor station.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, the Little Joe. I thought the Little Joes were 10 pounds, but that's okay. I guess there's different Little Joes or adjustable, I don't know. Not too up on that, you know. I'm an honest guy, you know, I'm not too up on that field gas. I do know the BTU content can fluctuate, but there is a lot of that going on out there. People running stuff on that field gas. Neat stuff. Wish I had it. Natural gas, neat stuff. So we're towards the wrap up now, or what?
Yeah, I don't see any questions coming in any further, and that was all the customer mail we had prepared.
Right.
So if you want to talk about your
So
demonstration,
if anybody, you can always email us at info@uscarb.com on that dealer information. Check out our website at motorsnorkel.com. Yeah, this thing in front of us, you see the name Wolfie? Wolfie? See Wolfie? Is it backwards on there? Does it say Wolfie on your side? Okay. We just built Wolfie to demonstrate the limits of flammability, but we didn't get it done in time. And so to do a proper demonstration, we want to show how the limits of flammability affect operation, just like with that natural gas unit not wanting to run without holding the button in. So, but one thing we did find real quick was what perfect combustion is on this thing. Old Wolfie. Wolfie only takes 2 seconds of gas, and 1001, 1002, and here's our igniter. There's Wolfie. That's why we call it Wolfie. Woof, woof. I love old. I can play with this thing all day long, man. It's like,
I think the people want to see it again.
oh, that's dangerous because 1001, 1002, 1003. We'll make it louder. Here it comes. See, that's your limits of flammability. It's too lean. I put some oxygen in it. Must not put enough. Add some more oxygen. Oh, let me see. 2, 3, 4. It's a good recipe. That's what I mean. We got to figure this out to get the right mixture. We had a good one earlier, it really went up. But this builds the drama. Like, will it go or will it not go? See, this is a limit of, actually we're learning our limits of flammability right here because we put gas in there and it's not igniting. What's wrong? Is it too lean? Is it too rich? I don't know, let's find out. We're adding both at the same time, by the way. See? You know there's gas, you know there's air, it's not running. It's out of the limits of flammability. So next week we'll tell you why and hopefully figure out all the the ins and outs to help you understand why you need the right amount of fuel. And this has to do with purging of tanks and everything else. So we invite you back next week for that. Glad you could join us this week for the Dr. Hughes Show. And remember, no matter what happens, as my niece says, be a nice human. See you next week.